There are also some extra things you can put onto your adverts which people often forget about, called ad extensions. These are extra bits of information underneath your ad which provide more useful information for searchers and also make your advert take up physically more space on the page. So here's an example of one of them, location extensions. You can, at no extra charge, have an extra line in your advert with your address, which makes it easier for people who want to come and find your premises, but also makes your ad bigger and stands out more. Or you can add your phone number into the advert, and that will either appear in the advert, like that B&Q one on the left there, or if someone's searching for you on a mobile phone, they'll get that button that I'm sure you've all seen where you can click call, and it will take you straight through to them. That's a feature of AdWords that doesn't cost anything extra, and yet loads of AdWords advertisers forget to use it or don't know it exists. Okay? All these things are all really common. One of the things we do a lot of is we audit people's AdWords accounts and look at what's good and bad about them. And these are all taken from accounts we've looked at where we found people aren't doing this kind of thing. Seller reviews, these are the stars that appear in adverts. So having stars in your adverts makes them stand out more, means more people will click on you. And the reason I keep going on about more people clicking is not just so as you get more visitors, but also because Google assess how popular your advert is. And the more it gets clicked, the more they reward you by giving you a higher, what they call quality score. And the higher your quality score, the less you will pay for your clicks, and the higher up you will appear. It's a common misconception that your position in the search results is just about how much you're bidding, and it's not. It's a combination of how much you're bidding and what your quality score is, and your quality score is largely driven by how well written and how popular your adverts are. And then the final one everyone should be doing is called site links. So these are these extra bits that appear underneath some ads. So this is actually your basic AdWords ad here, but by using site links we can make the ad twice as big and we can put extra benefits across. So that's a client where we look after their AdWords campaigns for them, and we've specifically put those extra things there to make the ad bigger and put across additional benefits of their service and make them stand out more from the competition. And then the other things on the list there, make sure you send people to the right landing page. So if they're looking for men's shoes, send them to the page that's got men's shoes. Don't send them to the page that's got women's shoes, for example. You need to understand how the bids and the budgets work and be sensible about those. Don't bid more than you can afford. And you need to have a quality website. So it's no good spending time and money on AdWords if the website you're sending people to is not optimized to actually convert those visitors into customers. Okay? And that really sort of leads us nicely into the second half of this, which is I said I'd be talking about a bit of online psychology. There is a whole science around what we call conversion rate optimization, which is carrying out tests and making changes to websites to try and maximize the number of visitors who turn into customers. This is not about doing massive website redesigns. This is usually about doing very small, subtle changes to basically mess with people's heads and make them more likely to buy from you, okay? And people who are serious about making more money and getting more business from their website, what they do, they're always testing out new versions of pages, and they tend to do it as what we call a split test. So they'll have two versions of a web page live at the same time, and they'll send half the visitors to version A and half to version B, and see which gets the more sales on the more inquiries. And then whichever one's the winner, they keep that, and then carry out more and more tests. So I normally find when I introduce this idea on training courses, people go, wow, that's like really amazing. I've never thought of doing that. And what I tend to do then is do what I'm going to do with you now. I show them some examples of how this works in the real world. So these are examples where people have done these kind of split tests. Very often the change in the website is very small, but the difference they get in results is generally quite big. Okay? So I'm going to show you 3 of these. And for each one, I'm going to use you as guinea pigs and get you to guess which one you think got the most sales or the most inquiries. So this first one is from Laura Ashley. So big brands do this kind of stuff as well. And they had 2 versions of a page in their checkout process. This was the first version, and you can see on this one there are 3 buttons along the bottom. There's one for continue shopping, there's one for update shopping bag in the middle, and there's one for go to checkout on the end. So that was version A, and they split tested that against version B, where there were only 2 buttons, continue shopping and go to checkout. Okay, so that was the very small, subtle change they made. 3 buttons on version A, 2 buttons on version B. They sent half their visitors to version A, they sent half their visitors to version B across the same time period, so there's no seasonality or anything in this. And one of them got 18.87% more people going through the checkout. So a show of hands, who thinks version A was the winner? And who thinks version B? Okay, and who wouldn't put their hand up in public if their life depended on it? Okay, let's see if you're right. So there's an overwhelming vote for version B there. And you're right, version B was the winner. By just removing that button and giving people fewer choices as to what to do next, it removed the confusion, it gave them less options and meant they were more likely to carry on to the next stage. Okay, so now we've got you warmed up, let's try another one. This one is from a web development company. And so what they were trying to do was get people to go onto this landing page and click a button to fill out an inquiry form and basically get a quote from them. So on version A, the button that people click is that big button there that says work with us. And then on version B, they changed it to free consultation. So who thinks that version A, work with us, got the most? Couple of guys at the back there. Who thinks version B, free consultation? Yeah, of course, because everyone loves something for free, don't they? Now, the winning one here got 171% more inquiries. And it was version A, work with us. Okay? So it just goes to show that your immediate sort of thought and what you assume will be the winner isn't necessarily the case. And until you actually test it, you can't say for certain. Now, the theory behind this is that free consultation is such an overused term, we kind of become blind to it. And actually, how many web developers would charge you for an initial consultation anyway? So it's a bit meaningless. Whereas work with us appealed to people because it implies an equal relationship, collaborative, working together. It's got a nice, warm, cozy kind of feeling to it. Other kinds of websites, free consultation might work better, but what you can say for certain is on this particular site, for their particular audience, work with us got a massive, massive lift in inquiries. And how long would it have taken to change that button? 15 minutes? You know, so as I said, we're not talking massive website redesigns. Okay, so the final one is from Money Supermarket, where they were basically letting people do a credit check, and then at the end of the credit check, they were giving them their score and recommending what kind of credit card they could get. So on version A, the way they did this was they used words. So they said, your credit rating is excellent. Okay. On version B, they tried using symbols. So they said there, your credit rating is, and then 5 stars. Okay, so version A was the word, version B was the star rating. And one of those generated more revenue. So who thinks it was version A, the words? Okay, and who thinks version B? Now, isn't that interesting? Because that's a roughly 50-50 split in the room. And looking at it, we've got a roughly 50-50 split of men and women here, I think, haven't we, give or take? The results they found with this, it varied depending on gender. So men spent more money or were more likely to convert with the word, with excellent. Women were 7.8% more likely to convert if it was stars. Okay? So that just goes to show how subtle this kind of stuff is and why there is this whole sort of science around this. And you know, you can go out and sort of try all these kinds of things, just test. What makes it work far more effectively is actually if you understand a bit of the psychology behind it. And one of the guys we work with, he's on our stands, if you want to come and talk to him afterwards, you can, but he's actually got a background in psychology and NLP and all that kind of stuff, and actually uses those skills now to help us get clients better results, this kind of thing. And it's a fascinating area. So hopefully from that I've convinced you that it is worth doing this kind of stuff. My final thing is to give you a few ideas for things you could test on your own site, okay, along these kind of lines. By the way, don't worry about it being difficult to set up the test, because who's got Google Analytics on their website? Okay, most of you. There is a feature within Google Analytics which will actually automate all this kind of testing for you. Okay, so all you have to do is create the second version of the page, tell Analytics about the two versions, and it will automatically send half the people to one version and half to the other, and then tell you after a while which one's the winner. Okay, it's a feature called Content Experiments, and it's free in Google Analytics. So, okay, so my final bit is 7 things you could do to try and improve your website using these kind of tests. So the first one, what are these? They're headlines, aren't they? They're newspaper headlines. Why is that relevant to websites? Well, every website, or every web page really, has some kind of headline at the top, doesn't it? Some kind of big title that says what the page is about, or should say what the page is about. And very often you find these are quite unappealing. Now, you see, in newspapers, they understand about headlines. They know that headlines are what sell newspapers, that when you're browsing the news racks, you see a headline and you think, oh, that's interesting, I wonder what that's about, and you pick up that paper. And that's why if you look at the kind of headlines we've got here, they're all designed to make you wonder what's going on, to catch your attention. So things like Tories and SNP and secret plot. Oh, what secret plot? What's happening? How to double your pension. Oh, that sounds interesting. I'd like to know more about that. Yeah, they're all designed to make you read on. A good headline on a website should do the same thing. It should grab your attention and make you want to read the rest of the page. And yet, what's one of the most common headlines we see on the first page we go to on a website? Welcome, or welcome to our website. If you do that, you're taking a really valuable part of the page and, frankly, wasting it. Would you send out flyers that said at the top, welcome to our flyer? Probably not. And yet people are far more likely to put welcome to our website. There seems to be a strange thing with websites that people suddenly go ultra polite and start going to this sort of whole welcome kind of thing. Scrap that, put something actually eye-catching and meaningful there that will make people want to stay on your site rather than go elsewhere. And of course, don't just stick with one headline, test out different ones and see which one gets you the best results. In a similar vein, you ought to have a value proposition, something that sums up what your business, what your website's about, and why you are better than everyone else who does the same thing, or what your point of difference is. So here are a couple of examples from restaurants. This one here, their value proposition is the thing on the right there, the place in London for the perfect steak or burger. So that makes it pretty clear, doesn't it, what their offering is. Okay? Not going to be a good place to go if you're a vegetarian, but if you want a perfect steak, they are saying that is the place to go. So they're being very clear and very upfront what their thing is. They're not using fancy language or saying that they're into glass technology solutions when they're window cleaners. It's just straightforward, simple language that sums up what it is they do and what's special about them. Whereas this one here, theirs is a tranquil oasis amidst the hustle and bustle of Mayfair. So it's very clear what they're using to differentiate themselves is if you want a nice, quiet, peaceful lunch where you can hear yourself think, this is the place to go. If you have any kind of guarantee in your business, make that prominent on your website. Because one of the reasons people sometimes don't buy from us or don't fill in an inquiry form is they're worried. They're nervous about what could go wrong. And of course, there's no person there. You can't chat to them to reassure them. So if you can put things on the website to reassure them, like saying money-back guarantee or satisfaction guarantee. We've got things here, John Lewis, never know any undersold, good night's sleep guaranteed. That reassures people and removes the fear factor and means they're more likely to carry on and convert. There are things you can do to build up credibility. So have testimonials and reviews on the site, what we call social proof. If lots of other people have bought this product, surely you want to as well. Why would you not want to? So that's the purpose of testimonials and reviews. Accreditation logos. If you belong to any kind of industry body, you've got any kind of awards, put those logos on your site. And experiment with actually making them more prominent. A lot of people tuck them away down the very bottom of the screen. Move them up where people can see them. Very often, people don't know what these logos mean or how hard it is to get that accreditation, but just seeing those logos there gives them a warm, fuzzy feeling and means they're more likely to convert. And make sure your contact info is really clear, so as people can actually get in touch with you and who knows, buy something, but also to reassure them that if they are going to do business with you, it's easy to get in touch with you if there's a problem. We saw on one of the examples there a call to action, the work with us or the free consultation. If you have a call to action, make sure it's really prominent. And actually, if you don't have a call to action, get one. Because most people who come to your website, you've got to really assume that they are lazy or stupid or both. And so if you want them to do something, you've got to take them by the hand and drag them towards that thing. So on this example here, it's quite clear what Skype want you to do. They want you to join. Yeah, and that's a really prominent thing in the middle of the page. Or this one here, what do Pizza Express want you to do? They want you to book a table so as you eat lots of pizza and make them lots of money. So a really prominent thing in the middle of the screen there is a thing encouraging you to book. This one, of course, has become more and more important over recent years, mobile. If your website doesn't work on mobile devices, then a large percentage of people coming to your site are going to have a bad experience. If people have a bad experience, they leave. and then of course they don't convert. So think about, have a look at your Google Analytics, see what percentage of your visitors currently are using your site on mobile devices. Have a look at the stats and see if those mobile users are the ones who leave after only a few seconds. If they are, then by making your website more mobile friendly, you're going to make a massive difference to your conversion rate. And then finally, keep everything simple. Remember, online in particular, less is more. People have short attention spans online. They don't want to read loads and loads of paragraphs of information. So keep the language simple, break the text up with bullet points. If you've got inquiry forms or checkout forms, keep them as short as possible. If you don't need to know someone's salary or how many kids they've got or their inside leg measurement, do not ask that question on the form, because the more questions you ask, the less people will fill it in. And then navigation and stuff, keep the design simple. Don't have stuff there just for the sake of it. Keep everything nice and easy. Often the barest, simplest, easy to use sites are the ones that are going to get the most conversions. Okay. So there you have it. That's just 7. I could have picked far more, but that's just 7 things you could try out on your own sites, so that if you are sending people to your site with AdWords, or you're spending money on SEO or email marketing or anything else, you've got the best possible chance of turning those visitors into leads or into customers for your business. So I hope that's been useful. The final thing I just want to leave you with, we do have something we're doing here today for anyone who's at the show. If you are using AdWords currently, we are offering a free audit of your AdWords account. So the kind of stuff I said we check there, we'll have a quick look at your account and give you a feedback on what could be improved so as you can make more money out of it. We're doing that on our pod, which is just over there, conveniently. As I say, Tim's over there as well if you want to come and talk about conversion rate or online psychology and stuff like that. And in whatever little time we have left, I'm happy to take any questions. And thank you very much for listening. Hope it's been useful. Oh, and if you go to the stand and it's chock-a-block and you want to leave your name to get an appointment for an audit, see Clinton there or any of the other guys who are in the black EHD T-shirts. And there's another one, Mark, at the back there waving at me.